Okay,
Brenda.
so
Hi.
Oh, Brenda, I was just
oh,
thinking about you. We should get together for our birthdays.
All right, I'm ready. You name
I
it.
don't remember who's got the first one. Is it Cheryl in December or is it, when's your birthday?
The 8th of November. When is yours?
February.
Okay.
So you, Cheryl, then it must have been, who else should we go out to eat with? I'm totally blanking out.
I'm trying to think of her name right now. It's not coming to me. If you would have
Oh,
asked.
Frank. Lisa?
No.
No, not Lisa.
Sue.
Oh, this is terrible, you guys.
Well, it's just because we weren't thinking about it. Sue Frank.
Sue. Yep.
I'll see it. I
Maybe Mark can take her place. When's your birthday, Mark?
Yeah, I
Okay.
got ways to go.
Yeah. When's everybody else's birthday?
August.
Woo!
December.
Yay.
June.
Oh,
Mine was October 11th.
happy birthday.
Sweet.
Thanks. Are you going to sing me the birthday song like they do for St. Cloud Chamber?
If I do, it's going to be the old-fashioned one.
Okay, it's okay.
That
I'm
Glenn
good.
Imholt. That Glenn Imholt started. Still my favorite. Even though in this time, especially with COVID, probably shouldn't be putting your finger in your mouth.
Yeah.
It's the underwater birthday song.
Let's say now I'm curious on what this song is.
That's how we do it. The whole song. Way back in the day.
Yep, we've evolved.
You guys hear me okay?
Kaylee, can
Yes.
you go over there?
What?
Awesome. How's
Who is
everybody
that?
today?
Brady.
I'm kidding.
Good?
Oh, it was. Okay, yeah, we're good.
Okay. Awesome. We'll start here in a minute. Thanks, everybody.
Nikki, what's up, girl?
Hey, how are you?
Good. Did you take any of the gator equipment out and clean snow yesterday?
I didn't get to, but there was a whole lot of equipment out.
Yeah, there was. You guys, I am so happy because Greg and I are both I would have to shovel the snow and I knew it was heavy. And so I waited till the last minute. I finally got the shovel out of the attic. And then, wow, Leroy from Nature's View came and his folks, and cleaned our whole driveway.
Nice.
With some kind of bobcat thingamajig, but it was awesome. It was awesome. I'm still really excited about that.
Well, Mark was just telling us that more is coming tonight, so hopefully they'll stop over tomorrow for you.
It's got to be 3 inches or more, so.
No, you're in luck.
Am I?
Yep.
Oh, no.
So optimistic there, Mark. Thank you so much.
The forecasts are never wrong.
Yeah,
No.
I grew up in South Dakota where we don't believe in weather people, so
Or masks.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, funny. I haven't started my Mustang yet.
The Mustang.
Yeah. These are not good weather for Mustangs.
No, I haven't stored it yet, so we're gonna do that on Saturday.
Stored it. I thought you said started it yet.
Oh.
No, stored.
Yeah, it's pretty sad the pontoon has to go in yet. That'd be pretty funny driving through the snowbank with a pontoon.
Hey, it's been funny. I ran a couple of errands this morning and it was fun to see people blowing at their sprinklers with the steam, the mist coming out of the snowbanks. Never seen that before.
Oh,
Little late. Well, a little early too. Snow's a little early.
Well, they must follow Dexter's advice. Don't believe the weather people.
Correct.
Exactly.
I like that.
Cam, I suppose you're busy as sin right now.
You know, it's been such a weird year.
Yeah.
Campaigning obviously has been so different, but just being busy with work. I mean, usually we don't have a lot of legislative stuff to do, but oh my gosh, you know, it's been crazy. So while it's, you know, some campaigning, boy, a lot of it is still legislative stuff, working on
Hey,
things.
2020 is
So
not over. Let's call 4 or 5 more special sessions. What the hell?
uh-uh,
Oh, holding on 101, Linda, 101.
no, I don't want to do that.
2 Paula Capes. Look at that.
I know, that's really cool.
She's extra special today.
Apparently, every day, actually.
I'm trying, okay? I know. I'm sitting
You better mute one of your lines. You
What was
better
that?
mute one of your.
One of me is not enough. Mark, you know this.
Oh, well, I was going to say one is too much, but I won't say it.
Mark, I think it's kind of funny that you sit in your house with your top hat on.
Yep. Can't go anywhere
Yeah, so you just sit in your house with your top hat on.
all day, right? No.
Oh,
get this
hey, I saw
nasty rain.
you had a quote in the paper. Was it the Cold Spring paper?
Probably it was for.
I think it was
Pilgrim.
about Pilgrim.
It was.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I don't think the Times picked that part up. I mean, it was in the GSTC press release, but I don't know who all picked it up.
Yeah, no, it was front page of Cold Spring
Cold Spring
Record.
record. Mhm.
I'm like, yay, I know Sparky. Woo!
Did
Hey,
my little
Tama.
part.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
Good. Hey, I've heard of you. You're evil
Yeah.
and you hate babies, children, kittens,
Oh.
puppies, and you want everyone to die.
Yeah.
It must be true because I keep hearing this again and again every day.
But Jim, she
Yeah.
likes beer, so she's got that going for her.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that was the other thing. You like beer too much.
No. Yeah, right. Anybody who knows me knows. Yeah, right. As Greg would say, we have a 50-50 marriage. He drives to the party and I drive home. That's because I don't drink a lot of beer and wine. And
Hey, question for everybody. How does my trout show up? Is it showing up backwards for you or does it read the correct way?
Correct.
It does. Okay. Because I'm looking at my view and it shows it backwards. I was wondering if that's what you see. I know it's the flip camera thing, but
Mhm.
just wasn't sure how it came across.
Hi, Ann.
Hello, how are ya?
Good.
Good.
Good, good,
Good
good.
to hear. And you don't drink beer? What the heck?
Well, I'll drink a beer.
Okay.
If I have 2 beers,
in excess.
it's kind of, oh, wow. And I hardly ever have 3. I think if I had 3, Greg would have a heart attack.
And majored in drinking in high school. We learned that.
I
last
did.
Zoom meeting.
I did share that on Friday. Yeah, Mark probably could say, yes, she did.
Oh, my lips are sealed.
That's why her letter jacket doesn't have an A for Apollo and it has AA.
I was a triple
Oh.
A. Nowadays, triple A would be good, but back in the 80s, triple A was like, oh.
That's funny.
I was
right there.
number 5
years
out
of
of
my
6.
life,
My
so.
parents were like, whatever.
Well, gosh, for me, you guys, I don't know. And what was it for you? But the drinking age was 18 when I was a sophomore, and then it went to 19 when I was a junior. So I only had to be 19 to be legal.
Mine was 19.
Yeah.
When I was
Paula,
18, the
you're a
drinking.
baby.
When I was
Mine was
17,
21 the
drinking age
entire
was 18.
time.
And
Okay,
when I was
Jim.
18, it was 19.
Yeah. I've been buying since I was 16, so it really didn't change anything for me.
Yeah, me neither. Small town living.
Yeah,
Put the money on
I
the
think
bar,
I
grab it
tasted
from
the
the
first beer
cooler.
at about 16. I was a late bloomer in Stearns County.
Yeah, you were. So when I turned 19, there were like 6 of us, like every week somebody was turning 19. So we go into Billy Bones in Watkins, and it's my birthday because I'm the first one, right? So Bones comes to us and he's like, you guys old enough? And we're like, yeah, we're old enough. It's her birthday today. Well, then we started showing up every week. And he's like, I thought you guys said you were old enough. He said, well, we were. You didn't ask if we were legal. You know, we're just old enough.
I went into a bar in New Munich one time and ordered a 6-pack, and the guy said, "Are you old enough?" I said, "Well, not really, but we've got these girls, and so could you?" And he starts laughing. He says, "Okay, just be careful."
Gosh, it's such a different world, wasn't it?
Yep.
I mean, if you got stopped by the cops, it was basically, are you going to make it home okay, or do I need to help you? I mean, it wasn't, we're going to throw everything at you. It was truly just that. It was crazy.
Different era.
That explains a lot now, doesn't it?
All right,
We were
guys.
only perfect like people in South Dakota.
Yeah.
Don't fill their head with that nonsense. Granted, I went on a trip to Omaha, Nebraska over this last weekend. I drove down through Iowa, but then I forgot how terrible people from Iowa can drive. So I made it a point to drive back through South Dakota.
Hey, everybody. Hope we're doing well. As usual, we're going to kick today off with a couple of breakout rooms. Just one little housekeeping thing. If you could go to your picture and go up into the top little corner right here and click the dots to make sure that your name is your first and last name and then the business that you work for. That's a big help for us and for Laura in keeping track of all who is here. But we're going to put you into breakout rooms now. The question that you have to discuss amongst each other is, where do you volunteer outside of the chamber? So just talking about volunteership, discussing all the different things that you do outside of obviously the wonderful things that we do within the chamber. So Laura's going to stick you into rooms right now. If you get pulled out or tossed into a different one, we're sorry, but we'll try to keep it in about groups of 5. So we'll see you in a little bit.
I forgot to wear purple. Why am I supposed to wear purple? I forgot.
Rudy'll stay. It's okay. Room 1 has.
Anymore. Because I people in my office and I can't hear anything. I think the worst connection in there.
Breathe slow. And then Amy just got in. Her in room 1 probably.
I do still have
That was weird. I got bounced back and forth twice.
Marie's not doing anymore. Rose here. John's here.
Where to move people around.
Daddy shuffle.
And I can't even clear back in room 2 because she's showing that she's in room 2 already, and she just didn't join.
Try to like put her in room 1 then. Marie, did you get that one?
Well, I did join a room and then it bounced me back to the main room and I didn't even click anything.
That's okay. We need to talk membership.
Can you put a 1-to-1 with you
Sorry.
Just a vulture.
Yeah.
Hey, John, how we doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. We're gonna stick you into a breakout room here to chat for a little bit, and then we'll bring you back in, and then we'll put you back out again. So just be a minute, okay?
Sounds good.
Thank you. Good to see you. Haven't seen you in forever.
Nice to be back. Virtually.
Mike, Rozak.
Maybe 2, some, sure. Edwin, do you want to keep yours?
No, it would take it. I just was for participation. Do you know what I mean? But I clearly can't talk.
Mike, room 2 here, so go ahead. Oh, I'm muted. Am I muted?
No, you're.
No? Okay. We're gonna put you in room 2. Okay. Or, we're just thinking about it now. Rudy, you can take over, right?
Yeah.
Have to keep going in and out.
Hey Lisa, we're gonna do some breakout rooms this morning, so we'll get you put in one of those in a minute, and we're gonna do talk about some volunteer work you do outside of the chamber.
Are we able to put me into one of the rooms? Or is this still not working?
We might be having some technical difficulties with the groups or breakout rooms.
I think so, yeah, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us still in here that should be moved. Because I know Rudy, you're staying, and I
Yeah.
think Antoinette's just double logged in because I could have swore I heard her or that she's there.
Yeah.
Hey, Jessica and Stacy.
Hi. It just felt like the breakout room was really long, so we decided to come back.
Nice. Yeah, I think we might be having a couple technical difficulties. Some of us didn't get transferred either.
Yeah, looks like more people are coming back now too.
Marie, I thought you were leaving UCP.
In transition of leaving connectability, it takes a while to train somebody in on all the things I do there.
Got it.
So we did hire somebody last week. So just a couple days here and there and hours when I can, because I'm only part-time there, and training her on what I do. So
Okay.
for sure another month.
Awesome. And I never followed up with you. Did the Salas take you on or?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
They were super, super excited and happy. She texted me that night and she's like, "You're amazing. Can you come every week?" I'm like, "Sure."
See, I knew she would love you. Well, next time you're in their laundry room, take notice because my husband did the cabinetry. That was
Yeah,
just
he was there.
Oh,
he was there when I was there. I'm like, "Hey."
Very cool.
Yeah, he's talented. It's beautiful.
Yes, he is.
There's our speaker.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. Kaylee's going to talk about what we have next here.
All right, so next we are taking a poll. So once that pops up, the question is, how many people have received services in our shelter at AnnaMaries Alliance?
So the poll should be up. Looks like the clock is ticking on it. So there's 33 of you. So go ahead and punch it in and give us your best guesstimate and give us an idea on what your interpretation of AnnaMaries Alliance is. And then we're going to break out back into a second room for a little bit. We're just going to discuss off of this poll, what do you know about the programs and services provided by AnnaMaries Alliance? So that poll looks like it's just about ready to wrap up. We're almost all the way up. Sure. Share the results there with you. And then we will put you into breakout rooms once again. So again, the question will be, what do you know about the programs and services provided by AnnaMaries Alliance? So go ahead.
What's the answer? Oh, the answer, we didn't tell you guys. The answer is 582. So in our shelter the past year, we had 402 women and 180 children stay at our shelter.
I'm glad I was wrong.
All right, we'll get put back into some rooms here and we will see you again shortly. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
So, I think what I'm going to tell them is we're looking at a combo of meetings. Yeah. I'm just going to tell them we'll continue to send them reports, but as long as there's not actionable information or things that we need to discuss as a board, that we aren't going to have meetings just to have meetings. There's nothing worse than where you just get honest. And that we know the audit will be coming forward in late November, early December. We're looking to avoid Thanksgiving week. So we'll make an assessment of when that work will be. That sounds great.
Good morning, Claire. You should get an option to join a breakout room. We're going to do that for the next, I think we have a couple minutes left here, and they should be talking about kind of what everybody knows about the programs and services that AnnaMaries Alliance offers.
Good morning. Sounds good. I was having some problems connecting, but I'm here now.
Good.
I have not gotten an invite to join any breakout though.
Hi, Claire. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. We're bringing everybody back from the meeting rooms here, so it'll just be a couple of seconds.
It's very exciting to hang out in such an intimate setting with you all.
It'll start blowing up here in just a second. So, and there we go. Well, welcome back, everyone. Super excited to have you here. We do have one more quick little poll that we're going to throw up. Not yet. I lied to you. I'm just kidding. We're going to do that in a minute here. So I just wanted to say welcome. We are here in the chamber office getting geared up and ready to go. Before we do introductions here, my name is Brady. I am the chair for the Waite Park Chamber.
And I'm Kaylee. I'm your vice chair for the Waite Park Chamber.
Before we kick things off, we're going to hop into some Zoom housekeeping things led by our leadership team, Dexter, Rudy, and Marie in that order. So Dexter, if you wouldn't mind.
Heidi ho, my name is Dexter with Backhot Digital Marketing. So one of my first tips is going to be changing your name here on Zoom. We want to make sure that we know who you are and also where you're from. So in the top right-hand corner, you should see 3 dots. This is for a desktop view only. You should see 3 dots. If you click on that and then hit rename, you can adjust your name to be similar to mine. Otherwise, if you are on a mobile phone, please hit the participants button. And then from in there, you should be able to find an option to rename yourself as well. And then the second part is going to be the chat function. If you please open up the chat function, you are able to go ahead and just start shooting out messages. Say things about like what you like about the meeting, maybe something you just learned. If you are new here today, I also ask that you please put your contact information into that chat function so we can all start connecting with you outside this meeting.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Rudy Meyer with Royal Renovations, your fire and water damage specialist. And we have some information on how to change your attendee view. So you'll want to tap the change view control and a pop-up shows the options for the display. You'll want to choose the option or the icon with the view you want to display. There is gallery view, which shows as many as they can at one time. And then speaker just shows the person that is speaking.
Hey everybody, Marie with Connectability Minnesota, formerly UCP. We had a name change, so we serve all disabilities, all ages, all over the state of Minnesota. And I am on the Waite Park Committee as the senior at-large member now, and I am giving you some tips on muting. So you can always click the microphone to mute and unmute yourself, but you can also hit or hold down the space bar to mute or unmute yourself as well. And also, if you want to raise your hand to do like testimonies or announcements, or if you have a question, you can click on participants. If you're on a mobile device, it's more, the more button, and then click over to the right and it says raise your hand. So those are my tips for today. Thanks everybody for coming.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. We're going to take this time as well as thank our last month's host, the Boys and Girls Club. So, hey, Birdie. And next, we're going to go off with introductions.
Fantastic. So what we'll do is we'll read off 3 names at a time. We'll have up first, on deck, and then in the hole. And we are going to have a little bit of a theme here. And we decided on what your favorite part of fall is, but with the recent change in the weather, what is your favorite part of fall or winter? So Kaylee will kick it off here.
All right. So we are going to start off with Mark Offendorf, Dexter Hansen, and Nikki Holthouse.
Morning, I'm Mark Ossendorf with XL Energy. XL Energy, helping people get lit up for over 100 years.
Hello, Dexter with Badcat Digital Marketing, where we do SEO, AdWords, and social media marketing, because the best place to hide a body is on Google second page.
Hey guys, Nikki Holthouse, Assumption Community at Cold Spring and Gator Check Center. Gator done. And I do like the snow, just saying.
Awesome. Next 3 are Ann Thielen, Amanda Henry, and Brenda Sickler.
Hey guys, Ann Thielen from Falcon National Bank, where our service soars above the rest. My current favorite thing about winter is watching my husband shovel.
Hello, Amanda Henry with St. John's Prep, where we educate our students for a lifetime of learning, leadership, and service. My favorite thing about fall and winter is the start of hockey season.
Brenda just sent a note in chat saying she had to step away, so you might want to go on to the next.
All right. Perfect. Thank you so much. We'll get back to her. So next 3, we have Rudy, Marie, and Katrina Krause.
Hi everyone, Rudy with Royal Renovations, your fire and water damage specialist. I am also a junior greeter for the Waite Park Chamber.
Hey, Marie with Connectability, and just a reminder, we have our Disability Awareness Halloween party on Monday, so let me know if anybody's interested in going. Thank you.
I'm Katrina Krause with IntelliConnect, where we make your phones ring, your internet zing, and we can save you some cha-ching. I am wearing my purple. It's kind of hard to see on the video, but I don't like winter, but my dog does, and she leaps through the snow like a dolphin.
All right, we have Adam Holm, Wendy House, and Jessica from Gretzky Center.
Good morning, Adam Holm, St. Cloud Area Schools. My favorite thing about fall is watching the leaves change on a long drive with my family.
My name is Wendy House from Catholic Charities, and my favorite thing about fall is kind of the same line as Amanda. I love hockey, so I'm waiting for hockey season to begin, or what can begin of it.
I'm Jessica Ryder. I'm with the Gretzky Conference Center on the College of St. Benedict campus. And my favorite part about fall is the fall temperatures, like the 70s, comfortable weather, which is now left us.
When was that? Not 30s or 40s, huh?
All right, next up, we have Laura Kingus, Antoinette, and Tama Tice.
Hi, I'm Laura Kingus with Arvig, and my favorite part about winter is that it doesn't come till November. I've got a lot of construction projects to get in yet this year, so I'd like the snow to here.
Hi, I'm Antoinette. I'm the membership specialist with the chamber, and I couldn't find the camera. My favorite part about winter is I love the snow because I was tired of the sun, and then watching my little guy get so excited to play in it and go snowboarding. So.
Hi, I'm Tama Tice. I'm the state representative for District 14A, but also, most importantly, with Get Home Inspections, where it's Greg's knowledge and your comfort. And I love snow, and I love having people clean my snow for me, especially some of the leaves that have, you know, come up on my driveway. So I love snow.
Next up, Brian Jarl, Roxanne Ryan, and Paula Capes.
Hello, everybody. Brian Jarl, Advantage One Insurance Agency, where all our policies come with an agent. Obviously, a top hatter today as well. My favorite part of fall, just like Jessica, I like the fall weather typically, but yeah, we kind of lost that this year. And unfortunately, I have leaves that I need to get up, and I'm not sure I'm going to get them this year. So, anyhow.
Let's see. Was I second? Was I next here?
Yes, you are.
Okay, all right. I'm Roxanne with Wacosta DocuShred, home of the Can Do Cruise, and our fabulous ThriftWorks thrift store, where we provide people with disabilities the opportunity to live and work in their home communities. And I pretty much hate fall, I hate winter. So I'm gonna say I like fall, and I really do like it. And I really do like, you know, getting out, being able to go for walks and the great temperatures and the leaves and pretty much everything about fall, except that winter follows it.
Good afternoon, Paula Capes with Falcon National Bank, where we will roll out the red carpet to help you transition your accounts to us. And my favorite part, yes, would have to be watching my daughter, just her eyes light up when that snow came yesterday, and then playing in it.
Oh, I love it. All right, next up we'll have Brenda Sickler, Lisa Bryan, Kristen Hannon, and Newton.
Hello, I'm Brenda Sickler from Tyson Dental. Our patients like to come to the dentist. It's the tooth, also your Sauk Rapids chair. And I am a Missouri girl, but I have finally learned to like winter. And I thought it was beautiful yesterday.
Happy Wednesday. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kristen. Okay. I'm Kristen Hannon with Midwest Bank. Doers welcome. I'm also one of your top hatters, just not today. And I love camping in the fall, but in the winter, I love that we don't have to do anything because it's too cold and you can just kind of hang out. So.
Happy Wednesday, Lisa Brown, City of St. Cloud Aging Services with Whitney Senior Center and RSVP, and also a proud member of the Sauk Rapids Rice Board of Education. And I think my favorite thing about fall and winter is just curling up with a book, sitting by the fireplace, and having a good cup of tea.
Newton from Good Shepherd Community, Graceful Living in a Caring Community. I love fall. I could happily live without winter, so I don't like it.
All right, perfect. Next three, Amy Allen, Melanie Halter, and Ashley Rogie.
Hi, I am the new Director of Development and Communications at AnnaMaries Alliance, where we hold the dream of nonviolence for women and children until they can hold it for themselves. And I love fall. I love the cool weather. I'm just not really excited about snow in October.
Hi, my name is Melanie Halter from Bethlehem Lutheran Church. We are looking to partner with different organizations in the St. Cloud area in areas of service. I much rather like fall than winter. Lately, I'm like shipping my boys away for hunting so then us girls can cause trouble and do crafts without my husband worrying about where the glitter is coming from.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. I'm Ashley Rogie with Nahan Printing, where we listen, impress, deliver. And I think my favorite thing about fall and winter is kind of the holidays coming up and spending time with family. Our family is currently growing. We're expecting our second. So it'll just be another fun one to have. So, yeah.
Okay, we need a round of applause for that one. Congratulations. Okay, next three, we have Brenda Spain, Carmen Hernandez, and Laura Wagner.
Hello, Brenda Spain, Senior Sales Director, Mary Kay Cosmetics, making you look good, feel great. And I thought the leaves this fall were spectacular. Loved just going through town and looking at all those beautiful leaves.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, my unmute button was not working. I'm Carmen Hernandez with Advantage Chiropractic, helping employers encourage wellness for their employees through mini wellness workshops. My favorite part about fall is hoodies and bonfires. The snow kind of put a little damper on that, though.
Hi everyone, Laura Wagner with your 5-Star Chamber of Commerce here. And my favorite thing about the fall is the colors. Like, the colors are amazing. When the trees are changing and everything, we had some really great colorful trees this fall before this white stuff came. Thanks.
I was gonna say they're not colorful anymore, they're white now.
Okay, next three, Bernie Perriman, Charles Hempek, and Jim Grenke.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bernie Perriman with Batteries Plus Bulbs in St. Cloud and Sauk Rapids. And I don't have to tell you that if you need a new battery for your car, we install free and we have every kind of battery you would need. I'm also the chairman of Top Hatters, the chair of Government Affairs, and vice chair of the board. So thank you and trust the plus.
Hi, I'm Charles Hempek with AnnaMaries Alliance, and my favorite part about fall is probably just the color change and the cool temperatures and just being able to enjoy the outdoors that way.
Hi, Jim Grenke with Mark J. Trout Wells Incorporated Trout Companies, where we know water from the bottom to the tap, and we think boring is exciting. And my favorite part about winter is when it ends. My favorite part about fall, every other year would be the fall colors, and those other years, the campaign signs kind of obscure the colors. No offense to Tamil Tice. And I like football.
Fantastic. Next three, Stacey Coral, John from the City of Waite Park, and Laura Kunzleben.
Hello, Stacey Coral from Gabriel Media. That's home of Spirit 92.9, KS 1180 AM, and home of the family-friendly 24-hour Christmas music that starts in 40 days. Just had to say. And my favorite thing about fall is just like what everybody's saying is how God paints those beautiful trees every single year. And my wedding anniversary is in October, so we just had 14 years. So that's my favorite.
Good morning, everybody. John Nurnberg, City of Waite Park. Happy to be back after a few meetings of conflicts that I wasn't able to get out of. So nice to see everybody on the screen here. My favorite part of fall is using the leaf blower because I like to pretend it's a jetpack.
We missed you, John.
Hello, I am Laura Kunzleben. I'm the Community Engagement Partnership Coordinator from the St. Cloud VA, and my role is to do the training that I'm going to be doing today, SAVE training, and also standing up suicide prevention coalitions within the 27 counties that our VA covers. And so, Melanie, you mentioned maybe, partnering with some different community programs, and I would love to partner with you as a faith-based organization. So thank you.
Fantastic. Next two, we have Beth and Claire. Is Beth MIA?
Beth said, a working microphone today. Beth Falkner, Vice President with Tactical Advantage in Waite Park, Arming, Minnesota, with personal protection and peace of mind. Favorite part of fall is our annual family hiking trip near our wedding anniversary to explore the local area.
Awesome. Thank you, Claire. You're the best. You can go next and introduce yourself.
I am Claire with Catholic Charities, and we're together. We can make a difference tomorrow. And my favorite part of fall, I think, is the colors and all the fall things we can do. And my favorite part of winter, I'm with you, Jim, is when it's over.
Fantastic. Next to Kayla Ward and Michael Rozek.
Good afternoon, everybody. Kayla Ward with Doctors Park Mental Health Center. Healthy minds mean healthy lives. My favorite part about fall is getting to put on my scarf and my boots, and the colors and just the smell and the glow of everything. And my favorite part of winter is, like other people have mentioned, the hockey season. So can't wait for it to start up this year.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mike Morozic. I'm with EPS, Electrical Production Services, where we're providing power and infrastructure solutions for our customers. I guess my favorite part about fall, I'm going to echo what Jim and Stacy and Kayla and everyone's been saying, but the colors, even when things are going dormant, they still seem so alive. And the thing about the winter time is I do like winter. I like all the sports that winter brings, from fishing to snowmobiling to skiing and snowboarding, and just shoveling paths in the backyard for my dog. So I make the best of it, let's say.
Awesome. All right. Did we miss anyone? Now's your chance.
I just wanted to say, I forgot to say what I love about fall is the pumpkin stuff that comes out at the stores. Coffee, whatever, even if it's fake. I love pumpkin.
Pumpkin spice season. Fantastic.
Wonderful. Well, next up here.
1 second. Leslie Lane from Central Minnesota Credit Union was missed.
Leslie, why don't you go ahead then?
Thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry I had to jump on a little bit late. I'm Leslie Lane. I'm a commercial banking officer at Central Minnesota Credit Union. And my favorite part of fall is, like everyone said, the fall colors. And I have a funny story. I was in Shields the other day and I overheard this woman and her kids talking about they were going to have a bonfire and like sip hot chocolate. And I went over and I said, you know what? I'll be right there with you. So I think that's the best part.
Awesome. Well, thank you all. Anybody else that we missed? Wonderful. Well, next we're going to get into our announcements here. First up, we'll have John from the city of Waite Park. John, take it away.
Hi, everybody. I think I'm unmuted here, so we'll give it a go. Couple updates. First is on Monday evening, the city council approved $400 and odd thousand of small business CARES Act assistance for Waite Park businesses. That's something we've coordinated with Stearns County on to make some additional funds available from what we were additionally allocated. So thanks to Stearns County for that assistance. So we'll be cutting checks here shortly to those businesses. We had 40 applicants for local small businesses to for some of that federal funding to help in the gap here for the folks that were closed or partially closed due to the COVID pandemic. So looking forward to helping them get a little boost from some of these funds. So hopefully it'll give a little relief for them, and wanted to thank them for making it easy on me through their applications and getting all their ducks in a row for all the documents and everything, because I know it's kind of challenging for times. So excited to do that and help out. Otherwise, we have the first residential subdivision that we've seen in a while, at least since I've been here for 5 years. We have a 69 lot subdivision that's being proposed out on County Road 137 on the western side of town, out past or probably near Belclair Estates and south of Highway 23 and south of Fleet Farm in that area. So quite a nice area for a subdivision. Won't all get built out at once, but they expect that they'll start marketing lots in the spring once everything is finalized and they get some utilities in there. So could kick off some interesting developments in that area, but that's probably our key growth area for town in that western side. And then the eastern side that's starting to kick off a little bit too. A couple other things in the works too. I know that the American Legion site in town here sold just recently. The Legion isn't going away. They're looking at options to stay in town, but they're going to probably be building a little bit smaller facility, kind of at their preference. The Legion site does have a proposal for it. It's not a restaurant, I can tell you that, but it hasn't come in formally yet. So it is something kind of service oriented. So it's not a shop, not a restaurant, not offices. I can tell you that much. It's not anything crazy, but might be a good use for that corner there. So continue to work with the Legion and try to keep them in town here, and hopefully that all goes well. Otherwise, those are my couple updates. I hope everyone's staying well, and I'll try to keep on chugging along so I have some more additional things to report as we have more meetings here.
Awesome. Thanks so much, John. Really appreciate it. Next up, we'll have the school district update from Adam Holm.
Good afternoon, everybody. Lots of fun things going on at our schools this week. And part of last week are Spirit Weeks for our 7-12. So they've been in school colors and pajamas and all kinds of fun things. Academics continue to be on the rise. I hope everybody heard that Apollo student Ethan Logeman recently earned a perfect ACT score. So that's another highlight. Apollo's STEM and technology program is part of the SME Prime, and they're introducing high-tech machines for our students so that they're prepared for the workforce, so we can get an edge up and meet the growing need and demand in the STEM program in our community. If anybody is concerned, we're still delivering meals, even though 7-12 is distance learning. 2.0, that we're getting meals out to our students and have drop-off sites, so our students are being fed and aren't hungry while they're learning. Both schools recently had their NHS ceremonies this past couple weeks, and elementary conferences are coming up in the next couple of weeks. So lots of great things going on, lots of great learning.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Adam. Next up, we're going to have the chamber updates, usually read by Gail, but she is out today, so Laura's going to fill in.
Hello, once again. So lots of stuff coming up. We've got a new member welcome on October 27th from 8 to 9 a.m. at the chamber office here, and it can be via Zoom. We are doing that at hybrid at anyone's request. So if you're new to the chamber, a new member, or new to your company and want to get an overview of how you can get involved and make chamber work for you, get in touch with us and register for that event through our calendar online. We also have Curiosity, Cocktails and Conversation. We were calling it virtual business after hours, but it really hasn't been that. So Curiosity, Cocktails and Conversation is October 29th at 4:30, and it will be Halloween themed. We've got some spooky guests and interesting stuff. And of course, as always, there will be a cocktail demonstration and some other fun stuff, along with small group networking that we offer during that. October 30th is really close to Halloween, so that will be the Masty Monster Bash Chamber Connection. That will be via Zoom as well, so they are encouraging costumes. Get dressed up, be sure to be on and representing your business for the Monster Bash on October 30th. And then lunchtime learning, not until November, but it's coming up really fast. There are a few seats available in person yet. It's Achieving Personal Health for Success is the topic. So check that out again on our calendar. You can register for everything on our calendar and online and get signed up and get to this cool stuff. It's we've got a lot going on. It's a lot of fun. So as that white stuff piles up out there, we might as well jump on Zoom and see each other and have some fun.
That is one added benefit with all this COVID stuff. So you don't have to drive through snow as much, I guess. So thank you, Laura. Next up, we're going to have our host present. It is Charles from AnnaMaries Alliance.
Time out. We have a poll question we got to do here.
Go ahead. See, I did it before. I preempted it. And now we're picking it up. So go ahead.
All right. So our poll question is, do you know where AnnaMaries Alliance is located?
Fair amount of yeses.
I would say it's pretty good on yes. Yeah. It's fantastic. All right. So for those who don't know where we are located at 505 10th Avenue North here in St. Cloud. Our Center for Family Peace building that was built 2 years ago. Out front is our logo and our sign. And it's the first time in our organization's history where we were able to have a welcoming sign out to welcome everyone and absolutely anyone into our building. So next up, now you can introduce.
Now we have Charles from AnnaMaries Alliance. Super excited to hear what he has to say. So give him a silent round of applause.
Thanks, Brady, and thanks, Kaylee, for that introduction. And I'm happy to be with you all today. It is October, and October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And so that's why you were asked to wear purple if you had it. It's the color that represents Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So thank you all for being at the Chamber event today. And so Laura's going to help me out with the slides, so we'll have those up. And you can go to the next one. And I'll do my best to focus on the camera and still keep on task here. I'm not a newscaster, so I'm not in practice. Anyway, so the mission of AnnaMaries Alliance is to provide a safe place for domestic violence victims while achieving systems change. So that's one of the reasons why we do both prevention and advocacy at AnnaMaries Alliance. Next slide. So in the United States, every 9 seconds a woman is assaulted. And just other little bit of information that the Violence Free Minnesota, which is a statewide coalition to end relationship abuse, puts out an annual domestic violence homicide report. And so in 2019, there were 21 victims of domestic violence homicide, and so 15 of those being women, and then 6 bystanders, or also two of those 6 were children. So people are definitely impacted on an annual basis around domestic violence. Next slide. So just a little history about AnnaMaries Alliance for those that don't know. Next slide. So we were founded back in 1979, and one of the pictures I love to share with people is this one here. And so this is when a group of dedicated women and men were lobbying the St. Cloud City Council for the first shelter. And so I just love this because, just the intensity of the women who are there and talking with city council members. And so the first time that they went for St. Cloud City Council, they were denied the request, and they said that, well, domestic violence doesn't happen here in St. Cloud. And so they came back a little while, a few months later after they regrouped, and just an example of great grassroots nonprofit work. They brought a whole bunch more people with them, and they had people lined up out of the office and out to the sidewalk, because this was before they had limits on speaking, and so they were there until close to midnight before the city council finally relented and said, okay, we get it, we need a shelter, and so it was granted. So that was a great start. And the first shelter was over by campus back in 1979. Okay, so now Kaylee mentioned the Center for Family Peace, and so right here is the front of the Center for Family Peace, which was finished 2 years ago, and this is focused on prevention, education, as well as community advocacy. Next slide. And so this is a picture of the front of our shelter. Next slide. And so this is a newly remodeled entrance of the shelter. For those that remember, it used to be much more broken up in a lot smaller kind of chambers within the entrance, and so we opened it up to really mirror the Center for Family Peace. And so we can go to the next slide. So it's much more open, warm, and welcoming for the women and children who come into the shelter because it's really their home while they stay with us. Next slide. This picture is of the daycare, so we updated the daycare and children's area as well to have some, just again, more colors, more cupboards for storage, different atmosphere. We also added room for a learning and activity center for school-age kids, and so this was really geared towards preschool kids, and so now we've added that, and this will be also helpful when kids are distance learning that they can have access to space outside of their rooms. Next slide. And so in the future, what we're planning on, go ahead, Laura, next slide. We're moving towards apartment-style rooms. Right now, we currently have dormitory-style rooms, so there's a bedroom and a bedroom on each side, and then the bathroom in the middle. And so we'll be transitioning into apartment-style. Now to really give a lot more privacy and to the women and children and the women who are there at the shelter, really from a trauma-informed lens. It's much better for them to have that sort of security and privacy even while they're in the shelter, rather than sharing that real intimate space of a bedroom and a bathroom with people that they don't know. Next slide. I also wanted to just mention, if people have questions while I'm talking, just feel free to either put it in the chat, which I guess I can't see necessarily, but also just shout out and I can answer any questions that come up. And so just talk briefly, everybody had a chance to talk a little bit about the programs, and so I'll go into more detail about that if anybody, as they're in the breakout rooms. Next slide. And so one of the biggest things is intervention. And so as we know, we have our 24-hour shelter, emergency shelter, and as I mentioned, we last year it was 582 women and children last year, and part of that is to helping just, of course, offer that safety and security and just the basic needs, but also just help them assess what their needs are, help them set goals. We have therapy, support groups as well, and help them look for if they need help finding jobs, if they need help finding a place to live, anything around that, we support them as well. We also have our children's programs, and so we're one of the few shelters in Minnesota that has a licensed daycare on site, and so the women can utilize the daycare while they go to work or have other appointments or just even need a break for themselves from the kids for an hour or two. They can utilize the daycare. So within the daycare, we offer therapy to the kids. We have our children advocates who are part of that. We also have early childhood and family educators who come in and help with that as well. So we have lots of different wraparound services. Because we can't do this ourselves, we partner with legal aid and Catholic Charities and TRICAT. So we partner with lots of different people in the community to bring services into the shelter to help the women and children. We also have our community programs, and so this is out of the Center for Family Peace, and so we provide criminal justice support. So when an incident happens, we actually have our on-scene advocates who, and then again, all these kind of services, how I'm describing them, is really kind of pre-COVID. We've made adaptations since COVID is taken into account, but these are under kind of normal circumstances, how this happens. And so once we get a call from law enforcement, we will go on scene, actually meet with the victim survivor and talk about the services that we have for them. And what we found is that the faster that we're able to connect with them, the more likely they are to access our services. So it's really important to have that sort of initial contact really quickly with them. And then we also go to court with them. We help them file orders for protection or harassment restraining orders. And we follow criminal court cases and keep them informed of what's going on. So we have a close relationship with the criminal justice system as well. And then we have a transitional house. So that is a house separate from our campus over on 10th Avenue. And so this is up to like 9 people or 4 families can stay there. And this is really to help for women who maybe don't have a great rental history or are ready to transition out of the shelter, but maybe don't need, but need a little bit more support yet. And so this is up to 30% of their income, so it helps build rental history. and it still adds some security, but a little bit more freedom for the transitional. So they can stay there up to 2 years or 24 months. We also have some long-term housing at Burl Oaks in Sartell as well. And those are 4 units that are dedicated to survivors of domestic violence from the shelter. And of course, we have our pet safe home. That's actually a picture of my dog when he was a puppy. That's Gus. But I just thought I'd take a picture of him. But our pet safe home, we're one of very few shelters in this state that actually has a standalone pet safe home. And so we can house up to 5 dogs, 5 cats, and other miscellaneous critters. We've had rats and hamsters and bunnies and other stuff like that. And so one of the things that people maybe don't think about is women who own pets, about 40% delay leaving because they have no place to take their pet. And so oftentimes the abusive partner can utilize that pet as leverage, saying if you leave, I'm going to hurt or kill the pet or something like that. So it really is helpful to have that option at AnnaMaries Alliance. Next slide. So we have our prevention education and trauma-informed care, and so we do go into schools, and we normally meet with between 4,000 or 5,000 kids. We are adapting to that and working with the schools and doing more online meetings, and that's finally getting set up for our prevention education advocates. We also do professional trainings. We go into businesses, meet with attorneys and social workers, law enforcement, anybody who looking for additional training around domestic violence, and community outreach. So we'll go and even speak with churches, meet at chamber events. So those are all sorts of things that we're really looking to just get the word out about domestic violence, because again, sometimes people don't realize why a woman may choose to stay in a relationship as opposed to leaving right away. So there's lots of different dynamics that go into that decision. The main one is it's the most dangerous time for a woman is when she decides to leave the relationship. So there's lots of factors going into that. Next slide. So our advocacy that we do is really kind of being out in the community and talking about it. So we work with Violence Free Minnesota and looking at public policy and making sure that the laws are in place to help support survivors of domestic violence. We do that on a local, state, kind of national level. We look at housing. Domestic violence is the #1 cause of homelessness for women. So we really look at housing, how that impacts survivors of domestic violence. Work with the criminal justice system, make sure it's responsive to their needs. Employment, oftentimes women who are survivors of domestic violence miss work a lot because of that violence, so it's really important to understand those dynamics as an employer. Work with social services, healthcare, all these different aspects that impact women and children. So again, just quick slides. We've already talked about 402 women, next slide, and 180 children. So we do can have a lot of children at the shelter at one time, which can make things interesting and fun at times. Next slide. And also we do a lot with non-residential services. So we have our 24-hour hotline that people can call, of course, as well as our non-residential services, which is our community advocacy work, and that's over 2,100 people that we served last year. Next slide. And then for our small groups and our prevention education in the schools, we provided those small groups to 186 juniors and senior high students. And then in the elementary, next slide, 2,816 elementary students received services from us, going in and doing presentations to them as well. Next slide. We provided 20 trainings to almost 800 people last year. Next slide. And then volunteers. We utilize volunteers a lot at AnnaMaries Alliance. Under normal circumstances, we have about 5 to 6, the equivalent of 5 to 6 full-time staff with all the volunteer hours that go on at AnnaMaries Alliance. So we use them outside with taking care of the lawn and that sort of thing, and outside maintenance, and as well as in the children's program with child mentors. We have weekend cooks. We have front desk volunteers. And then just different groups that come in and help out with all of our in-kind donations that happen as well. So volunteers are a huge part of making AnnaMaries run. And there's stats for the Pet Safe Home. Next slide. And just a picture of some volunteers. Next slide. And just really the biggest thing is we're trying to tell our story. We have our October breakfast, which actually is December 2nd this year, so we moved that back for COVID. But other things we do for our pre-derby party, we do mail appeals, so just get the word out there, newsletters, social media. Kaylee's been doing a fantastic job with doing our Facebook and all the other social media posting that goes out there. And our website is annamaries.org. And also just, again, donors are a big part of making things happen, and a lot of in-kind donations that come in. And so this is a picture of a young lady who, for her birthday, asked for donations to come in for AnnaMaries Alliance. So she brought that in. So that was a great donation that was made to us. Yeah. So how people can get involved with us. We have our peacekeeper donors, and those are people that just give on a regular basis. Volunteers, huge, and just advocate for us. You know, if you hear somebody that needs help, make a referral to us, or just let people know that the services are available to them. Because as Kaylee had mentioned, we are no longer hidden. It's not a secret where we're located. We want people to know, like, this is where you go for help. And we think we're a big asset for Central Minnesota. Next slide. And so, as Amy had mentioned, we hold the dream of nonviolence for women and children until they can hold it for themselves. Next slide. And to keep in contact with us, here are some emails to keep in contact. So if people have questions, I'd be happy to take any questions people might have.
This is Laura Kunsleben. I was just wondering, if you don't have the address hidden, how do you keep the women safe from the person?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So all along, safety is a priority for AnnaMaries Alliance. And so one of the things, everybody, to get into the facility has to be buzzed in. If you don't, employees have keys, but otherwise you have to get buzzed in to that. And we have cameras on the outside and inside of both buildings. And we've expanded our lighting, a lot more lighting outside, as well as for the shelter, we actually have bullet-resistant glass in the front part of the shelter. And so we take security very seriously at AnnaMaries Alliance. And if we do have someone comes up and is looking for a resident, of course, our default answer is, I can't confirm or deny that anybody's staying there. But if they continue to, ask for this person, we just ask them to leave. If not, we're going to call law enforcement. And the police respond within a minute. We're pretty close to downtown, so they're there very quickly and respond to help us out. And it doesn't happen as much as people might think it happens.
Thank you.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you again, Charles. Let's give him a round of applause. Awesome.
All right, so I can personally say that was a fantastic presentation. I do say so myself. So thank you, Charles. We appreciate it so much. Next up, we're going to hear from our speaker, Laura from the VA. So Laura, you can take it away.
So should I share my screen? Is that probably what works the best with my PowerPoint? Oh, host. So if someone wants to, because it says host disabled participant.
Yep, try it again.
Okay.
You're good now.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, can everybody, let's see. Can everybody see my screen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, hang on one second. I want to see if I can. So, I have met a lot of you through the St. Cloud Chamber and various different meetings as well. And like I mentioned in the introductions, my title is Community Engagement Partnership Coordinator. And so going out and doing just like what I'm doing here today and standing up these community coalitions to help end suicide, and not just in veterans, in our community, because what we know at the VA is that veterans are community members first. So we're trying to reach them where they live, where they worship, where they play. So one of the things we say at the St. Cloud VA and the VA as a whole is suicide prevention really is everybody's business. And by the end of this training, you should have a better level of understanding what I mean by that and how it can be applied to your everyday life in your personal life as well. So what we know is, and this slide's a little bit behind, unfortunately, more than 47,000 people die from suicide every year in the United States. It's the 10th leading cause of death. Every 12.3 minutes, someone dies by suicide, and 18% of all those deaths by suicide are among adult veterans. Obviously, veterans are adults, but for us in the VA world, that comes out to over 6,000 veterans every year are dying by suicide. So, and over 1 million people make an attempt every year. So unfortunately, in our great state of Minnesota, it's the 8th leading cause of death. And the new statistics, unfortunately show it's the 2nd leading cause of death for ages 10 to 34-year-olds, not just 15 to 34-year-olds. Think about that, a 10-year-old dying by suicide. You know, it's hard to wrap your head around it, and you can see the other age groups as well. So one of the things we have to review when doing suicide prevention training are myths and facts about suicide. So one of the things a lot of people think, and I'm sorry if any of this conversation triggers you related to someone you know who's died by suicide or attempted suicide, or you yourself, I respect that you may need to log off. I don't go into any details, but just the information that people need to know. So one of the things are that people think suicidal people keep their plans to themselves. And a lot of times at a funeral, when someone has died by suicide, they say, well, we never saw any signs. We never, you know, it was so shocking. Now, remember, everything we talk about, there's always, you know, both ends of the spectrum. But in fact, most suicidal people communicate their intent sometime during the week preceding their attempt. But the hard part is it's not always, I'm going to kill myself. It's, I've been feeling really depressed. I've been extra down lately. I'm feeling really hopeless. So the next myth is those who talk about suicide don't do it. Well, that's not true either. People who talk about it may try, and a lot of times are engaging in some actions of self-destruction. And then the myth that once a person decides to complete suicide, there is nothing anyone can do to stop it. We know that it's actually the most preventable form of death, and almost any positive actions may save a life. So it kind of goes along with the next myth, no one can stop a suicide, it's inevitable. And it's really not true, because we also know that people in crisis, 90% of them who are in crisis and thinking about suicide or make an attempt never go on to be suicidal again. And actually, I didn't even realize we were aligning with AnnaMaries Alliance today, but certainly people of domestic abuse have a higher rate of dying by suicide and such too. So this next myth is the most important one that you really need to remember. And the myth is confronting a person about suicide will only make them angry and increase the risk of suicide. Absolutely not. I cannot reinforce this one enough. Really asking someone directly about their suicidal intent lowers their anxiety, opens up the communication, and lowers that risk of an impulsive act. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And, you know, we joke about Minnesota nice, but when someone's feeling this way, that has to go out the window. We have to ask people directly. And then the last one, again, only experts can prevent suicide. It really is everyone's business. All new VA employees since 2007 have received this similar training, because we know veterans like to talk to other veterans, and many of our employees are veterans as well, but everyone else has the information too. So the VA has moved towards what we call the public health model approach. So when you think of the public health model approach, think of things like you know, breast cancer screening, heart disease is actually the #1 killer of both men and women in the United States, and kind of that go red and those kind of things, because you want to reach all different levels of the population. The VA has now acknowledged that we cannot end suicide alone in our veterans and in society as a whole. It must be a coordinated effort, and we need to really reach, again, where they live, where they work, where they play. So one of the things we have to talk about when we talk about suicide prevention is what are the ways people choose to either attempt to die by suicide or go on to die by suicide. Well, what we know is that about 50 to 51% of the time in the community, people use firearms. 67% of the time, veterans do. And 76% of the people living in central Minnesota die by the use of a firearm. This is not about gun control. This is about safety. And what do? I compare it to when people have been drinking, they shouldn't drive. We take their keys away. We call an Uber for them. Same thing. We have these gun locks. We've handed about 35,000 out in the community surrounding our area and throughout our facility. Anybody can request these. You do not need to be a veteran or a veteran organization. It is just meant to keep people safe. Excuse me, and create time and distance between somebody who wants to follow through on that impulsive act. So one of the things we know is that women attempt suicide 3 times more often than men, but men die 4 times more often than women. And again, it's surrounding the means and the way they choose to die by suicide. So there was a study done of about 184 people who attempted suicide. And when among them, 24% of them said it was only 5 minutes that elapsed between the time they thought about it and the time they attempted. And another 47% said in under an hour, and 13% said 1 day or more. So what does that show us? What that shows us is it's a very impulsive act. Many people who attempt suicide and obviously survive will tell you they never wanted to die. They just want to end their pain. So I have up here the Veterans Crisis Line, 1-800-273-8255, and veterans press 1. But what's so important to know about this is actually the National Mental Health Crisis Line. Anybody can call it. You do not need to be a veteran. They can text, they can email them. They will actually send out emergency dispatch if need be. It comes out of Georgia, New York, and Kansas City. And you may or may not have heard, but the FCC has passed the use of 988, like 911, for mental health crises. And that should be coming out within the next couple years as they work on the infrastructure. And that will be applicable to everyone, not just veterans either. So the main focus of my training today is called SAVE. We love our acronyms at the VA, but it is a good way to kind of remember it. So the S is know the signs of someone that might be thinking about suicide, ask the most important question of all, validate the veteran's experience or the person's experience, and encourage treatment and expedite getting them help. So when I talk about suicide prevention, I also talk about how it's kind of like, I'm a nurse by trade. And when you learn about someone having a heart attack, the more signs and symptoms they have, the more likely it is that they're having a heart attack, but it might not be a heart attack. It could be gallbladder disease or heartburn, but you need to take it all seriously. So here are some signs of suicidal thinking that require immediate attention, because again, not every person who's thinking about suicide needs to be hospitalized. But if these people are thinking about hurting or killing themselves, looking for ways to die, talking about death, dying, or suicide, engaging in self-destructive risk-taking behavior, especially when it involves alcohol, drugs, or weapons. And I believe, and don't quote me exactly on this, but I believe the last statistic I read was that 42% of people who attempt suicide, and especially in the younger age brackets, were under the influence. So these are some of the signs of suicidal thinking that a lot of research has been done and shows, time and time again. And this first one is the main theme of people who are thinking about suicide: hopelessness, But what's so important about that is it's not, what I may think is making me feel hopeless may not make you feel hopeless. But when people are talking that way, helplessness, feeling like there's no way out, they're feeling anxious, agitated, sleeplessness, or mood swings. They feel like they have no reason to live. Rage or anger, engaging in risk-taking activities without thinking, increased alcohol or drug abuse, withdrawing from family or friends. Sometimes we see them start giving their possessions away as well. So here are some other potential risks that we have to talk about. Age, gender, race. You may be surprised to learn that actually the older white male right now has the highest rate of dying by suicide. And the reason being is that is our baby boomer generation. Anybody born between 1946 and 1964 is considered a baby boomer. And so for us in the VA world, those are our Vietnam vets. And older people tend to have complex health issues. So what does that mean? They have heart disease, lung disease, maybe they're diagnosed with cancer. And unfortunately for our Vietnam vets, with their exposure to Agent Orange, they're at more risk for those things. They have chronic pain, physical or emotional or both. And what we know is you don't have one without the other. Recent losses, physical, financial, personal. Previous suicide attempts, although only 10% of the people go on to attempt again, it does put you at risk. I read a study where parents who die by suicide, their children are 4 times more likely to go on and die by suicide. So something we need to have in the back of our minds. And of course, the ongoing substance abuse. So when we talk about veterans, these are a few of why they're more at risk. If you think about their age category, and the 10 to 34-year-olds are the ones who it's their second leading cause of death, right there, they already are at risk. But they're frequently deployed. They're being deployed to hostile environments. They are exposed to extreme stress. Their length of deployments are long, and they have service-related injuries. Their packs weigh about 70 pounds, so they come back with joint pain and different issues. Now, again, when I talk about these things, it doesn't mean it applies to every soldier who gets deployed. And then the other one that I didn't read off was the physical and sexual assault while in the service. And it's not limited to women. And it's actually termed military sexual trauma in the VA world. And there's a military sexual trauma coordinator at every VA in the nation to address this issue. So here are some direct verbal clues of somebody who might be thinking about wanting to kill themselves. I've decided to kill myself. I wish I were dead. I'm going to commit suicide. I'm going to end it all. And if such and such doesn't happen, I'll kill myself. Some indirect verbal clues. This might be some of the things that when people come together after somebody dies by suicide, it might be an aha moment. And I want you to know it doesn't just happen to the general public. Those of us who do this for a living have all lost people to suicide and wish we would have said things. And I am one of those. So, but some indirect verbal clues. I'm tired of life. I just can't go on. My family would be better off without me. Who cares if I'm dead anyway? I just want out. I won't be around much longer. And pretty soon you don't have to worry about me. So here are some situational clues that we know put people at risk. Now, remember, none of this is the end all be all, but when you put these pieces together, it's important that you have this awareness. So situational clues: being fired or expelled from school, a recent unwanted move, loss of a major relationship, death of a spouse, child, or best friend, especially if it's by suicide. Diagnosis of a serious or terminal illness. I always use the example of our Vietnam vets who maybe have some of those Agent Orange diseases, and maybe they've been diagnosed with diabetes and Parkinson's, and now the doctor tells them they have prostate cancer. So what we know about prostate cancer is it's very curable, especially in its early stages. But sometimes for someone, it may be just the word cancer. So that would be someone you'd really want to hone in on, knowing they're already dealing with all those things. Somebody who's experiencing sudden, unexpected loss of freedom or fear of punishment, an anticipated loss of financial security, a loss of a cherished therapist, counselor, or teacher. We all know, what the distance learning and even in-person learning is doing, it's stressful for everyone, the teacher and the students. Fear of becoming a burden to others. And then those pain-related issues. So in the VA world, again, we talk about soldiers who've been deployed and have been in combat. They have, some of them experience what we call moral injury. They were called or joined the military and went over and did things they weren't raised to do. And so it really is difficult for them. So how do you ask the question? Well, it's so important that you ask it, not how you ask it necessarily, but I'm gonna teach you how to do that. So here's some tips for asking the suicide question. If in doubt, don't wait and ask the question. Remember, you're not going to put that idea in their head. They're either thinking about it or they're not. So it's okay to ask someone. If they're reluctant, be persistent, and try and be open with them. Talk to them alone in a private setting. Allow them to talk freely. I struggle even as a nurse. We want to solve everyone's problems, but it really is about letting them talk. Give yourself plenty of time and have your resources handy. And what does that mean? It means have phone numbers handy, counselor's name, and any other information that may help. And if you don't have any of the numbers that I talk about today, just Google it because it's all over the internet as well, places to get help for someone who's thinking about suicide. So here are some examples of how to ask the question. You could say something like, when people are as upset as you seem to be, they sometimes wish they were dead. I'm wondering if you're feeling that way too. You look pretty miserable. I'm wondering if you're thinking about suicide. And then the last one, are you thinking about killing yourself? Again, if you can't ask the question, find someone who can, but don't leave the person alone. And we really discourage the use of saying things like, are you thinking of hurting yourself? Because some people do what's called cutting, where they release emotional pain, and they may think you're referring to that. And not every person who cuts themselves is thinking about suicide, and vice versa. So just something to keep in mind. So, and then when you're talking to them, and I will tell you, those of us who do this for a living, it's still anxiety provoking when someone says, yes, I am thinking about suicide, but you want to remain calm. Listen more than you speak. Maintain eye contact. Act with confidence. Don't argue with the person because it's so real to them, whatever they're feeling. Use open body language. Limit questions. Let the person do the talking. Use supportive, encouraging comments, and be honest. There's no quick solution, but help is available. And I have learned that. I've been doing this job for about 2.5 years now. There are so many resources out there for both veterans and non-veterans. But unfortunately, it's one of those that you don't know what you don't know until you're in a situation like this. So it's good to have them handy. So you want to validate that person's experience because, again, it's very real to them. Listen to their problem. Give them your full attention. Don't rush to judgment. It's hard for us. That's human nature. But offer hope in any form. Remember, suicide's not the problem. It's only a solution to what they're perceiving as an insoluble problem. I want to give you an example of like teenagers. They lack what's called futuristic thinking because their brains are not developed yet. And what that means is they can't see themselves 10 years from now. And so the problems they're having, maybe they're flunking a class, or maybe they got a DUI or whatever. They don't see how to get through that. So we need to let them know that there's hope. So how do you encourage treatment and expedite getting help? Well, you say things like, I want you to live, or I'm on your side. We'll get through this. Taking someone directly to a person who may help is really the best way to do it. And if the person won't go, you can call the crisis line, the National Mental Health Crisis Line, like I mentioned. And you can, if they already have a therapist, maybe you can call the therapist while you're there. Again, don't leave them alone until a mental health professional has, talked to them at least. Try and get a commitment from them to accept help and arrange for them to get that help. So again, if they already have a counselor, maybe call that counselor and say, hey, so-and-so is, you know, not doing well today. Can you talk to them or whatever? And then the last one would be get them a referral information and try to get a good faith commitment not to complete or attempt suicide. No suicide promise. So what does that mean? That means that it's giving some time and space between those feelings. And then get others involved. Ask the person who else might help. Family, friends, brothers, sisters, pastors, priests, or providers. And never, ever keep someone who's thinking about suicide. If they tell you to keep it a secret, you cannot. That is definitely one of those things you just can't do. So here again are some resources. So 911, if someone is at immediate risk. I know some of our information talks about bringing someone into the emergency room, which you can do, but I just want to let you know that recently we had a couple of reports of people threatening to jump out of the car while it was moving. So 911 is good because it calls in, you know, some help. And just so you are aware too, that our local law enforcement are really at the table too, and first responders trying to figure out better ways to respond to people in a mental health crisis. I believe it's the St. Cloud Police Department has a social worker that goes out with them when someone is feeling suicidal. Every county in Minnesota has a crisis service as well. And you can just put in *2* crisis to locate the telephone number for any county in the state. A lot of them do combine services, but you can get a hold of them. And even if you don't have the correct county, I'm sure they will give you the number that you need to call. The other line that can be text is to Minnesota 741-741, and a person can get help. There's just, you know, really, like I said, again, there's so much help out there. And one of the things we're trying to promote with these suicide prevention coalitions is the no wrong door access policy, meaning if someone calls and is asking for help, the person on the other end will help them. Not that that hasn't been occurring, but the problem is, again, people don't have the right information to ask for the help. And of course, we're all working on preventing people from getting to be suicidal. The last thing that I want to talk about before, if there's any questions, is talk about all the risks for a person who might be feeling suicidal. But the opposite of that are things called what we call protective factors. And those are the things that have stopped the person from wanting to die by suicide. So maybe it's their grandchildren, maybe it's their children. Maybe it's the thought of a new job, and we want to reinforce those things as well. All right, that is the end of my formal presentation. And I can take questions. Yes, I see the new national mental health hotline number. It has not started yet though, so we don't want people to call it at this point. I believe it's 2022 that it'll be enacted. So they have tried it in various venues. I believe California has been trialing it. So thank you, Anne. And also certainly looking for new members for the coalition, the Central Minnesota Suicide Prevention Coalition. We meet once a month, and it is looking it is looking to end suicide again throughout the whole state of Minnesota and our communities, not just in veterans. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Laura. Super informative. If anybody else has any questions, Laura, would you mind putting your email address into the chat?
Sure,
so that if anybody has any private questions, they can send them to you that way.
You bet. Okay.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Another wonderful, informative presentation. We hope that you all enjoyed it as well. Quiet round of applause for her. Thank you again, Laura. Next up here, we're going to do just a quick summation from the STAR Celebration Committee that wrapped up last month. I believe Kristen Hannon was on.
Yep.
Wonderful. Kristen, would you like to just give us a little rundown, a spotlight just on the STAR celebration, what it all entails, as well as any needs that you have for volunteers?
Absolutely. So the event went really well. As most of you know, we did have to do it virtually. We did it via Zoom on October 1st. We honored 20 outgoing chairs, and we had approximately 60 people attend the event virtually, which was awesome. A couple people had watch parties, our committee included. And so it turned out really well. A huge shout out again just to our diamond sponsors who Falcon National Bank, Xcel Energy, Crown Companies, and especially FaceTime Business Resources, who donated the bags and the goodies in the bag. And so that was really awesome of them to do for us, and we really appreciate that. The honorees all got to enjoy a mini bottle of champagne, so congratulations to all those honorees, and along with everything else that the goodies in the bag. So it was really an awesome event. And then we do probably need a couple more volunteers. So if you're looking to get onto a committee, we get to plan a party. I mean, basically that's what it is. So if you did like to plan parties, like to execute parties, this is it. There's a little side gig involved with having to ask for money. But you know, most of us are in sales, or some of us are in sales. It's not that hard to do. So there's that. So just a couple people would be needed if you want to reach out to myself. Chase Larson is now the chair. You can reach out to Chase, or you can reach out with Jenna Binsfield. She's the vice chair, and she's from Park Industries. So, or you can reach out to Laura at the chamber office, and they can certainly help you get onto the committee and help volunteer your time. So have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Kristen. Really appreciate it. Next, we have time for like 2, maybe 3 announcements or testimonials. Carmen, I know that you had reached out to me prior in the week. Would you like to go first?
Yeah, so Advantage Chiropractic is doing our annual donation drive. I have, since we're trying to be quick about this, attached a link in the chat. It'll take you right to our website with the flyer and all the information on it. So if you guys can post it around or want to donate, just help us spread the word. Thank you, guys.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Carmen. Next up, we have Lisa. And we can take one more, the first person to just type it into the chat that they have an announcement. That would be lovely. So Lisa, go ahead.
As of today, we have a position open with the Retired and Senior Volunteer Program. It is our program coordinator for Stearns and Benton County. It's a full-time City of St. Cloud position, and so anyone interested can go to the City of St. Cloud website and apply online. It'll be open for 14 days.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Lisa. And finally, Stacy, go ahead.
Hey guys, couple things. First, super fast, we need help finding sponsors. We are trying to bless families who are in financial need this Christmas with Visa gift cards. So we're looking for sponsors for that. So if you have an interest, please see me and I can shoot you out pricing. As well as if you have kiddos, please call a voicemail number on our website and have them recite the Pledge of Allegiance, and then they would be on air. So if you know any kiddos, please have them give us a call. Thanks.
Very cool. Thank you, Stacy. Lastly, we have door prizes.
Fantastic. So we have 4 fantastic prizes for you guys today. First up, Brady, if you would like to grab, we have a super cute cup that he is modeling off for us, and then a 40th anniversary AnnaMaries Alliance notebook. So this is going to be our first prize here.
We'll spin the wheel. Two of them or just one?
Or
the cups.
Oh, it was together.
Okay.
The 2 of them. Yeah.
Perfect. So we'll spin it, and we'll spin it twice because we have 2 of these, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Number 5.
All right. First prize goes to Amanda Henry.
Pleased to be early.
All right, next prize of the other glass and notebook is Adam Holm.
Congrats, Adam. T-shirt.
Next winner of a Fancy Dancy t-shirt is Katrina Kraus.
Cool.
All right, and our final winner of the AnnaMaries Alliance tumbler is Brenda Spain.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations. They will be at the chamber office here with your name on a Post-it note. You can pick them up at any time. We won't, probably won't mail these ones out. But thank you once again to our hosts, AnnaMaries Alliance. We can't thank you enough for helping us out. And also Laura, who actually hopped off as well from the VA. Next month, we have HS Heating. We will be doing it virtually. Unless you hear otherwise, but until then, we'll see everybody soon.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, everybody.
So long, everybody. Have a great week, month. Catch you in the next Zoom meeting.